Alright, so here's our early raised bed. So I took the shade cloth off. It's probably a good idea. We had a crazy storm the other day. It would have blown off anyway. But these are the turnips. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of bulb development just yet. I don't really know how long they take because I've never really grown them before. Peas are starting to make a little more progress. They're kind of falling over, but I didn't support them. That's the kale. It's doing pretty good. It's a little bit weedy, but we've been having a lot of rain, so I haven't really been able to come out here to weed. These are the turnips that I harvested several of the other day. And some of them seem to be super green, and I've got a few more that I could harvest. And then over here, I've got the Mesclun mix, which I already did several harvests of the Arugula. So I did some good Arugula harvest. So there's an Arugula right there. Looks like it's thinking about blooming. I have to come out here and do some more cut and come again. But yeah, we got some serious salad going on out here. So pretty neat. I'm pretty impressed. So other things to know about some of these weeds are actually edible. Over here, right, that one right there. That's goosefoot or lamb's quarters, which is Chenopodium album, probably. The native people in the United States, especially in this area, actually domesticated a form of it. It was a different Chenopodium species, but the leaves are edible. The seeds are technically edible as well, and they're pretty tasty when they're really little like this. They're at least as good as any of the garden. There's another one over there. Oh, maybe the other species looks a little different. But anyway, these are Chenopodium, an edible weed. So let me grab one of these. That's it right there. And it's like, huh? Very tasty. I found when they're little like that. Really good. Alright, so this is the second bed. And this one, these are the beets that they got started from seed. Just actually started inside from seed. I think they were stuck in a tiny pot for months and months. So they're just kind of starting to put on size. These are my purple cabbage. I think these seeds were like 3 years old. So they're doing pretty good. So over here, what's starting to come up, these are the potatoes. And the ones that are kind of purpley, those are actually purple potatoes. I think it's Magic Molly is the name of it. And then I've got kind of some normal potatoes over here. They're starting to come up. I did plant some spinach here. Pretty sure these are spinach seedlings. But they're not doing a whole lot, and there's one that came up a little bit earlier. So far, I'm not super impressed with them. I may have to fill in because it seems like there's a lot of empty space. Anyway, this is one of our tomato beds. So what I did is tomatoes, 3 tomatoes here. Then I've got bush beans that I planted, 3 tomatoes, bush beans, and then I did some more turnips because I love turnips so much. I'm somewhat regretting that because they seem to be a little bit slower than I thought they were. But anyway, I started a lot of these a little bit too early, so they got really, really big, and even though I planted them pretty deep, they're still pretty tall to start off with. These ones came out really nice, and they seem to have adapted pretty well. So this one is the one that I cannot pronounce, Crnkovic Yugoslav, which is basically a tomato from Eastern Europe, which is supposed to be really good. That's an open pollinated one. This, I actually saved seeds from an F1 hybrid, one called Beefmaster. And I know that you don't get exactly the same thing, but I thought I'd try it and just see how the seeds turn out, how the plants turn out, and if they produce something. So eventually, if you keep basically saving the seeds of individual plants that are good, you could actually select something that, would be stable at some point, but we'll see how it goes. This is the Mesclun mix after I harvested a bunch of it. I took a lot of the Arugula, and that's from this right here. So you can see that's the Mesclun mix. So it was pretty cheap, and I still only used about half of the seeds here, and I just took about half of this, and I probably could have put down more, and we just tossed seeds pretty much everywhere. So, and this, doing it tight like this, I'm basically cutting it, and then we let it grow again, and then you cut it, and then you let it grow some more, and then you cut it back, and then you let it grow some more. So that even though they're really tight, you're removing some of the leaf material, so each of the plants has at least some chance to produce some leaves. So this has been just fantastic salad. I've already gotten basically, I don't know, 3-4 salads out of it. So if you had bought this from the store, I mean, $3.20, I've definitely gotten that much money out of it already, and it's still going. And it'll probably keep going maybe into the later part of May, but at a certain point I'll probably rip it out. But what I'm gonna do is these guys, this is the Arugula, it's bolting, which is fine. I'm actually gonna let it bolt, and I'm gonna save seeds from it because it was the most productive earliest thing that we had. So I think it's gonna be a really useful plant to keep around. If you want to just have something early, Arugula is a great plant for that. Okay, and over here is my husband really likes tomatoes, and I wasn't going to put this many tomatoes in. He said, I want more tomatoes, so we have more tomatoes. So this is a cherry tomato, and again, I planted this too early. I started these, I think, in January, which is like way too early. So this is Matt's Wild Cherry. This is really one of my favorite tomatoes. For a cherry tomato, it's a really good. And I didn't really want to plant it next to the other tomatoes, but I didn't really have any more space. So I think these are some more of the Crnkovic Yugoslav. And then I've got some empty space here, so we're probably going to put in zucchinis, or maybe, I'm not even entirely sure what we'll put here. We'll put some more, maybe some peanuts, some more warm season crops. But what we did over here, we have these guys. These are our bean towers. So we got bean towers here, and that's the chicken run behind us. And our beans are just starting to come up. We planted these, I think, like at least a week or two ago. And we've got Seychelles over here. We've got some purple beans that we saved from a couple of years ago. And then we had, I think that's, and then I did buy these Hopi yellows from Native Seed Search, which they're actually a Southwest group in terms of saving seeds, and they're usually not so great for Missouri, but I thought we had a really hot year a couple of years ago, and I thought, well, maybe these will be more adapted to heat, so I went ahead and bought some and thought would try them out. But anyway, that's where the at least edible garden is right now. And we got a beautiful sunset tonight.